Every journey begins with a single step. For many, the first step is the greatest challenge. Yet for all, the obstacles, the doubt, and conviction teach us about ourselves. It's these moments in life, a test of our abilities, our mind, when we don't know, but we still proceed, driven by the unspoken, but ignited by the obsession that yields some of life's greatest lessons and rewards. Join me as we explore incredible stories of leaders forging industries, enterprises, and ultimately, themselves. I'm your host, Adam Giery, and welcome to Capital Class. Let's begin. Hello, Strategos Podcast Network and Capital Class listeners. Today, we are hosting a special series called Teacher Talk. This series highlights the frontline leaders of learning, the educator. We set out on this journey to highlight teachers from across the country, learning from those closest to the mission. And as we return to the 2024-25 school year, we entrust our students' growth to the faithful leader who arrives each day, willing to patiently impart the lessons on a section of society training for the future. The woes of today's classrooms, at times hyperbolic, they can be found elsewhere. On today's special edition, we are joined by educators recognized for their unique impact. This educator is no different. Peter Yorke, standout middle school educator focused on special education at Manor Middle School, Texas. Peter, thank you for joining the show.
Thank you so much. And it's a great pleasure to be on your platform. I really am looking forward, to discuss and to talk. And I am so happy to be on your show. Thank you.
Great. Feelings mutual. Peter, let's start here. You're in the classroom. You're in the teacher's lounge, right? What's the bullish case for American education? What's the positive story that you're feeling and experiencing as a teacher?
That's a very, very great question. I would like to tackle these questions, from my background. I'm actually from Africa. I'm from Ghana. And so when I moved to United States, I really appreciate how the United States education. There's a big difference though, but I have come to appreciate how things work here, quite different from from my side. So really, to be in the position as a teacher, I know I have to make a great impact. I have to be a positive role model for the students, for the staff. But most importantly, I want to be in a position that I can use my culture, my traditions, just my experience to model, a positive lifestyle that, people can see that, education is not just in the classroom, right? It's something beyond the the four walls in the classroom. I want my student to have an inner ability to learn from the classroom as well as from outside the classroom. So that has been my my goal ever since I moved to the United States. And every time I step into the classroom, this has been my ethos. That has been my set goals to make sure that my students, I really impact them in the way that that will reflect in their life down through the ages, even when they grow up. So that's how I roll in the classroom.
That's beautiful. Let's start back from Africa for a moment. This feels very personal to you. This isn't just something you read in a book. Tell me back from where you grew up. How important was education in your life? Obviously, you pursued being an educator. Was there someone in your life that brought that to you? Maybe a parent or a family member?
Yes, that's really a good question. In fact, mine was kind of the opposite. I was somebody who never liked going to school, actually, but I make every effort to go to school. There were things, I call it obstacles in the way, but they never hinders my progress when it's time to go to school. Like, for example, I mean, the school or the community school that I attend is probably, 4 or 5 miles. And I mean, every day, I'm tracking this journey. I know I have to go to school, but it's just, it was just a big struggle. And so I kind of enjoy going to school, but the motivation wasn't there. But I knew that this is something that, I have to do for my life. It's like this is the only one time opportunity that I have. I have to do the best that I could. But coming back a little bit, like I said, I didn't like going to school, and I never thought I would be a teacher at any point in time. But when this actually led me to be a teacher, I kind of reflected and so that sometimes, you never know that the little effort, how your little effort could contribute to immense benefit in the future. Okay. But if I should just give you a little snapshot of how my village, I was in a village called Shama in the western part of my country called Ghana. I mean, school wasn't like, a luxury here. And I'm not trying to, bash anything, but I'm trying to, bring the reality of the limited resources that we have, and yet we have to make everything out of it. I mean, whether it's raining, you still have to go. I mean, it doesn't matter how far the school is, because it was one community school that serves, I mean, so many communities. So we have to run a kind of rotation. So you go in the morning and then you have to leave and go, and another group has to come in the afternoon. So those kind of challenges, I mean, they were really, real life challenges that I never knew that I have to pass through these challenges to get to where I am presently. So I really appreciate that, despite the difficulties, despite the challenges, despite the limited resources, I mean, whether you have a teacher or not, I mean, my mom saw to it that I go to school, whether I even understood the reason I go to school or not. She makes sure that I get to school. So I would say my mom has been the backbone, the support of my life. And especially when I didn't know what I was doing, she made sure that, I followed through, and who knows? And here I am. I'm a teacher. The very place I do want to be is where I am right now, and I really appreciate, to be in this position. And like I said, has been my goal to make sure that I use this position and my experiences to bring the beauty of education to let kids understand that, sometimes, it's not what you don't have, but actually that the little things that you have, you can make a very great impact along the way in your life.
How different from your vantage point, but yet also how similar is today's student, right? Which is certainly in Shema, the challenges are unique, right? Where you had to walk to school. Some people do that here by choice. This was a necessity for you, right? There wasn't always a teacher, but yet it does feel like the student, the basic type of someone who doesn't want to go or someone who does want to go, someone who's eager to learn. Those are commons, no matter where you are in the world. In your experience as an educator, we talk a lot about today's students so different, but are they that different?
So, in my opinion, I think, I mean, I understand what, formal education really means, but I think when it comes to the very certain, the very, I think that education should be about, or more like, it should be a culturally diverse setting, because there's a lot of kids who, have story to tell. I mean, there's a lot of kids who are in the foster care. They have, I mean, so many, different struggles here and there. And I think we should be able to develop maybe sometimes a curriculum so that it can address these areas that these kids have been. Because if we're not able to show them that, I'm saying, your story is real, your story is, great. I'm saying that should serve like a motivation to help them to learn. So I understand, like I said, I understand the formal education. We want to follow thoroughly through a set of curriculum. We want to make sure that, they follow a certain structure, and that's all fine. But we should also not forget that, the story of the kids, the things they've gone through, is also part of their life, and it should be talked about in the classroom. It should be brought to light when we teach them. We should give them a chance to express what they went through, because not just only for them, but even for their peers, even to help them understand that, look, there's a part of my story which is similar to yours, and this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to work through. You know what I'm saying? So, um, e- e- education as at now is just so broad, but I think we just have to bring into, the level that the kids can able to understand and to be able to relate to it in such a way that they can tell their story. And that just like I'm telling my story, that is really something that I will never trade for anything. I really, really understand what I went through. And with that is a very, strength to me every day when I recall and reflect on that. And I'm sure that if we are giving the kids this chance, they will also be able to understand their story and use that as a stepping stone to reach even higher levels in their lives.
Hey everyone, it's Adam Giery, host of Capital Class, a venture of the Strategos Podcast Network. If you enjoy our stories of entrepreneurs building their enterprises and ultimately themselves, be sure to check out our other shows hosted by my colleagues as they explore leaders, entrepreneurs, and topics impacting the American education system. To learn more about On Balance, On the Clock, Swimming Upstream, and To the Point, visit strategosgroup.com/insights or visit Spotify, Apple, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. We thank you for listening to Capital Class and hope you enjoy. I couldn't agree more. The power of the story. And I would follow on to that, Peter, which is, I was a middle school teacher a long, long time ago. And I felt that my students, so this was like the early days of social media and the early days of technology in the classroom, iPhones, regardless of where they were. And there were more and more personal stories that were coming into the room, right? I had students that would come to Orlando without the ability to speak English, which is where I was teaching, and we had to teach them. I had students who had split households and they would forget their books at one parent's household and they were only there for that week. And so, what do? Do you penalize this child or do you accommodate this child? But regardless of the setup, ability to speak English or not, the ability, if they had a special needs, unique abilities, they all wanted to learn. And I've yet to meet a student that goes to school and says, I don't want to learn. They may not find learning enjoyable at all times. They may not find school enjoyable at all times. But I think through that hard exterior, which can come with negative experiences at school, they want to be successful. They want to learn. They want to get good grades. It's just what they want to do. We all do. It's just that journey through that can be sometimes more painful or more fruitful for others.
That's really true. That's really true. I think we all take a different path. I'm saying, to reach our goal, and so and enhancing those paths, highlighting that, like for example, if one kid, I'm saying, like to learn through, I'm saying, different media, support, that is fine. I'm saying, like sometimes when in the classroom, I'm doing my assessment. I give kids, different ways to present their answers, and if it is what works for them, why not? Because I think everybody has a very unique way of answering the same questions and then yet coming to the same result. So why not? In my position, I have to also recognize, I'm saying, the student disability. And I like one thing here in America, and I'm saying, which is not really um, we do back home. Like every child, no matter I'm saying, your strength and weaknesses, you're still given a chance here. I'm saying, every child deserves to go to school, and which is one thing I have come to realize, and that which actually also motivates me here, because I can recall that when I was in probably, I'm saying, second through fifth grade. I mean, I have, friends that if they receive the amount of support through interventions, I'm saying, and other educational resources, I'm sure that they would have, I'm saying, they would have succeeded, I'm saying, much in their lives, but unfortunately, we don't have that. But there's always also a way that, back home they go about it to make sure that we get the needed support that we need. So I would say that, every child should learn, every child learns differently, but they should take the advantages of the immense resources that is at their disposal in the United States, and use it to learn the best that they can, because there are also definitely cases that, because of their disabilities and their behaviors, sometimes it really impede them from progressing through the educational ladder. And I wish it's not so. Okay. And sometimes looking at where all this and the troubles and the issues, I mean, you can trace it from different pathways. I mean, some from the home and some from the community and something like that. So I'm looking forward, I'm saying, to see a very supporting family, a community that supports the educational curriculum interventions, and every educational enrichment program that can help support the kids, because education is just not about just the teacher, trying to make impact to the kids. I mean, it does involve everybody from the family, community, from the church. I mean, everybody has to, we got to stand together to support and raise this kids, because this case are definitely going to be our future leaders. They're going to take, high positions in government, in civil, workplaces, and all of that. And they need that, and we cannot lose them at any point in time.
Peter, what's a common misconception of what it takes to be a teacher?
Um, I guess what I'm saying, for me, from my culture and from my traditions, I was raised, or I was taught that if you don't acquire, I'm saying, for example, if you don't acquire a certificate or a sort of degree, you can't be a teacher. And that really actually bothered me a lot, because I was somebody, first of all, who doesn't like to go to school, let alone even go to the college or university to earn the degree. But in my own, I'm saying, unique way, I started to um, teach. Like, I started to do after school program, those kind of stuff, because I realized that I want to be this, but that kind of misconception that, and of course, I'm not ruling out it's necessary to have your degree, because that is one of the basic qualifications anyway. But I wouldn't say that that should be that if you don't have it, you cannot be a teacher. No, you can be a teacher. I mean, our moms and our dads, I mean, they helpers in our homework. I mean, some of them don't have degree and stuff, but they are very good educators at home. You know what I'm saying? But the second thing I want to talk about is that I think that we should not wait for a child, all right, to improve on certain areas. We should not be wait for a child to have certain kind of strength or ability before we give them the chance to. I'm saying to learn or something like that. We should be our classroom should be a very neutralized place that no matter what the strength or the weakness of the child, we should be able to give every child the equal opportunity to succeed. You know what I'm saying? And whatever background they've come from, we should, be able to isolate those kind of, those kind of ideas, because you never know that, what that particular child went through and all those kind of stuff. So we should be able to give the child a fair chance, if you like, a much more opportunity, and recognize that there is something in them that when they get the best support, they can be able to reach their high goals in life. We shouldn't hold anything. Um, we shouldn't blame them for anything of, especially that is not their fault and those kind of stuff. But we should just be able to, allow them to become what they want to become, even despite their story. Okay, so I would say giving a equal platform to every child, no matter saying who this child is, whatever the background, it doesn't really matter. Give every child, saying, the best support and give them equal chance for them to thrive. The other thing, I think, when it comes to the a very misconception is about the curriculum. Like I didn't mention, curriculum is great. It's always good to have a guideline to follow, certain kind of trend, which is great. But I think that once in a while, we should teach what really reflects in the kids' life. I mean, what they're going through. We shouldn't just stay on a formality, because what would that do to them if that cannot really help them, if they cannot reflect on their personal stories, their background, their families. If we teach them, we use formalities, and it doesn't really help them in that kind of way. So we should have a curriculum develop and be able to really address, many areas of their lives. I mean, we'll try, but I'm not saying that you're going to hit all the high points, but at least, I'm saying, allowing diversity in the classroom. I mean, using culturally responsive teaching to able to, pull up those kind of information, allow the kids to be themselves in the classroom without, not necessarily, without no stereotyping and all those kind of stuff. I think that will help the kids to know that that they have a place in the classroom, they have a place in life, and that they can also contribute to the economic welfare of the country, and especially in their family, and even aspire them to dream big, to be, to think about things that, might be impossible for their parents or for their, the brothers or sisters maybe, but giving them that chance for them to have a fresh opportunity to become what they want to become in the future or in their lives.
Peter, I'll get you out of here on this. What's the one thing you wish people knew about your profession from outside the walls?
Yes, the first thing, I'm saying, they say that, being a teacher is one occupation or one career that teaches every other career, and that is true as well. But I'll say that when it comes to teaching, it requires not just a certain type of methodology, like following a certain kind of methodology, but you have to be very patient with the kids. We talk about our growth, and sometimes, what you anticipate or what you expect might not realize immediately. So patience is really the key over here. You might not see the result immediately, but also be mindful that you are making, a contribution, you are contributing part of the case, you are contributing to the case life in part. Now the kids will go to next grade, and another teacher will also contribute to that. So it really, patient, it really, a teamwork, and also be very realistic. Having a positive expectation that no matter what, no matter what you're doing, you are going to make a positive, maybe not immediately, but in the future. Like for example, in my classroom, sometimes you wish you're teaching, and the kids having a kind of behavior that you wish that is gone immediately. And you come to realize that the kid is not stopping, and that behavior keep on, escalating here and there. I have found out that, sometimes to try to address that immediately, something doesn't really solve the problem. You just have to be patient, find a very set time or a very good time to, to talk to the kids, maybe one-on-one, and find out that if, there's a solution, there's things that you guys could work that could help benefit, especially that particular kid, because every kid is different. Every kid learns differently. And so one method cannot be, all, one set of method you cannot use that for all the kids. Every kid you need to have a very unique way of addressing their behaviors. And so, it just require, the patience. It just require the unique style of teaching. It just require that you're not the only one contributing to the kids' life. There are others who along the way will contribute, but at the top of it all is that always have a positive expectation that whatever that you're teaching or whatever contribution you're making to a kid's life, that will definitely produce a positive outcome, if not now, but in the future, definitely.
Peter, thank you. As a parent, as an advocate for your profession, we just couldn't be more fortunate for your leadership. We wish you a wonderful start of the year and feel honored to have you on the show.
I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity on your platform. Thank you so much to you, Adams, and then to your media team, the producers, everybody. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining today's episode of Capital Class. If you're interested in joining our next discussion, subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. Capital Class is a venture with the Strategos Podcast Network. To view the entire lineup of shows, visit strategosgroup.com. I'm Adam Giery. Class is closed.